You can go out and do whatever stupid deals you want to do, the most ridiculous buyouts in the world. And we want to be careful. You'll get a total pass. You'll get a pass. Give us our jerseys back. It's our birthright. We deserve it. And maybe you should just sit out and listen. Hey, welcome to Juckeye Bucks and welcome to the newest edition in the Angry Juckeye series. And today we are doing college fan base superlatives. I love college football for a lot of reasons. And one of them is that every fan base has its own reputation. They're all a little different, mine included. And I want to let you know that this is not a bias operation. This is totally subjective. The Buckeyes are on this list, and it's not for a flattering one, okay? This is not 100% my personal opinion, though I do have some facts that I have, not facts, some situations that I will share in my own experience that might add to why I chose who gets what. But the majority of this is just what I've picked up throughout the course of my life as a college football fan on how other fan bases perceive other fan bases. So, for instance, we'll start with Ohio State, okay? I understand that the majority of the country finds the Ohio State fan base, which is massive, to be the most annoying sons of bitches in all of college football. I get it. We're annoying. We're everywhere. We travel everywhere. We got big mouths. We probably think we're better than we are. All the shit you would say about us, I understand, okay? So the most annoying, number one on our list, the most annoying fan base, as the rest of the country sees it, we're giving it to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Congratulations, Buckeye fans, on being the most annoying. And as we go from annoying, let's go over to something good, okay? The nicest fan base. The nicest fan base in the country, and when I'm talking about fan bases, I want you to know that I'm talking about major college fan bases, okay? Like, we're not going to have Iowa State in this list, though they would be a candidate for the drunkest. The drunkest fan bases in the country, Iowa State would be in that mix. I don't know if many of you know that, but Iowa State drinks like Wisconsin, drinks like LSU. Iowa State sells stadiums out of beer, like Texas State as well. Some really drunk fan bases. But we'll get to that category. Right now, we're going with the nicest category. The nicest fans in college football are the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Ohio State has played Nebraska for several years now. I have had the privilege of traveling to Lincoln to see an Ohio State game in Nebraska. And honestly, you feel like you're one of their friends coming over to watch the game with them. It's the most eerie, weird feeling you will ever experience in your college football fandom life to go to another big-time college football program stadium and have the friends ask you if you're enjoying your time there. You almost feel bad saying that. I mean, like, I feel bad saying that it's eerie and weird, but it is. Who welcomes the enemy into their house and pats them on the back and asks them if they want a beer on them? That's weird. Nebraska's weird, but very, very nice. And they are the nicest fan base in the country. And from nice, we'll go right to the opposite with the rudest fan base in the country. Now, I've got two candidates. And these are not only based on my own personal experience, but based on what we all know as college football fans, that the two rudest fan bases in the country are without a doubt Notre Dame and Florida State. Obviously, we've all had experiences with Notre Dame. I imagine if you're watching this, you're a pretty hardcore football fan. You know some Notre Dame fans. You can't stand some Notre Dame fans. They live in a past era. They still think they're all that. They're so obnoxious. They're so annoying, but they're not those. Okay, they're rude. They're just rude. I went to a Bama Notre Dame national championship game, much to my surprise, having been, I'm from the Midwest, right? I'm from Ohio. I've never experienced Alabama fans. My opinion of what they were going to be like was absolutely nothing like they were. They were actually really awesome. The Notre Dame fans, who, being from Ohio and being Catholic, there's lots of them in my family as well, they are so rude and so obnoxious that at that game, I felt like I wanted to root for the Alabama fans. Like, I wanted to root for them to come out of that game feeling happy. Even though Notre Dame's from the Midwest, I got tons of family that root for Notre Dame. I kind of was pulling for them as we went into Miami, and I ended up leaving feeling happy that Alabama won because they were so absolutely rude, and they thought they were just the shit, and I can't stand that. So Notre Dame fans are the rudest fan base as we move on to the drunkest fan base. Now, we all know that Wisconsin drinks some beer, right? Lots of famous breweries out of the state of Wisconsin. Not a lot to do in the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is some hardcore drinking folks. And I spent some time in Kenosha, Wisconsin when I was about 16 with my cousin Luke. And there's literally a house on every corner in Kenosha, Wisconsin that is converted into a bar. I don't know how they get the zoning for this, but it's a house, man, like duplexes that you would see on any normal street. And it's converted into bars. You walk in and it's like carpet on the floor, like a couch over here in a bar where the kitchen would be. It's the weirdest shit ever. So we know Wisconsin is a lot of drunks. Okay, they drink a lot in Wisconsin. But there is no argument in this category. You all know who wins. LSU is the drunkest fan base in the country. That's not close. We all know it. And what makes it so weird, look, LSU is also the most diverse fan base in the country. And when I say diverse, I don't mean race diverse. I mean culturally diverse. Okay, so you got the ones in the north that sound like they're from southern Mississippi, and I can't even understand them, right, with that southern accent. And then you got the ones from the Bayou area that sound like they're French Canadians, and I really can't understand them. So add on to that they're the drunkest fan base in the world, and you cannot communicate with an LSU fan. You just can't. Drunkest fan base in the country, the LSU Purple Tigers. All right, man, fair weather. The most fair weather fan base in the country, without a doubt. I want you to guess who it is. You don't need to. It's USC. I mean, these people, when they're good, they're just such big mouths. And when they suck, which is all the time, dude, the Coliseum is half empty. It is so embarrassing that you are a school with the history that USC has, and that is what you turn out for. And I don't want to hear how much crap you have to do, okay? I am so sick of California fan bases of all kinds saying this. There's so much to do out here. What are you doing on Saturday morning? Go watch the Trojans, you dork. You can bike riding. What are you doing? You surfing? Shut up. You don't like football. You just like to be part of the winning cool kids club. You don't like USC. You're all full of shit. You're the most fair weather fan base in the entire country, and I'm sick of you. I'm happy you're coming to the Big Ten so we get to play you more often and bust that ass. How you like me now? Grateful. Now listen, there is a fan base out there that has slowly risen to kind of new age, new blood status, you know? And we've all watched it happen slowly through a lot of fan passion and a lot of Nike money. The Oregon Duck fans that I interact with, and I interact with a lot of them. Now, granted, they might like me a little more than most because I did make a video called The Scariest Man in College Football. Check that out. They really like that one. But the Oregon fan base is quite grateful that they are now in the upper echelon of football. Not a whole lot of them, a small percentage, but not a whole lot of them talk nasty crap. They seem to be very pleasant. They want to talk football with the Buckeye fans. You know, they're coming into the Big Ten. They're all excited to do it, and they're not coming in talking nasty crap. They're coming in grateful. They want to talk about football. They want to feel like part of the big boys club, and they are. They absolutely are. And I believe that Oregon fans are the most grateful college football fan base. Condescending. The most condescending fan base in the country, and deservedly so, is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Though I will point out that when Alabama does not have the greatest coach in the history of college football, twice, there was 24 years between Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. What happened in those 24 years when Alabama does not have the greatest coach? Well, they finished outside the top 10 16 times in those 24 years. They finished outside the top 25 10 times in 24 years. So, Alabama, while you are the most arrogant fan base in the country, I'll remind you that when you don't have the greatest coach in the history of college football twice, you're kind of like Florida. So, yeah, I'd watch what you say. I'd watch what you say. Respectful. I went to Norman, Oklahoma for an Oklahoma game and was in Columbus when the Oklahoma fans came to watch them for a home and home. Now, you know who's not respectful is that little prick Baker Mayfield who planted the flag in AstroTurf. You can't plant a flag in that, Baker, you moron. He's not very respectful, and we all know that about him. But the Oklahoma fans were quite respectful. They weren't nice like the Nebraska fans, but they were very respectful, both in Norman, to us, and in Columbus. I know some of my Buckeye fans did not have the same experience I did, and I know that a whole lot of people around the country, particularly in the Southwest, will not feel that way about the Oklahoma fans. But I think that the rest of the country, if they were to interact with the Oklahoma fans, and we're talking about big-time fan bases, would think that they are one of the more respectful fan bases. Delusional. So this is our last topic here. Now, there are several contenders for delusional fan bases. I'm just going to go through as I was doing my list here. So who is exceptionally delusional? We all know that Michigan would have been on this list before they won a national championship. Michigan has been quite delusional for a long time in thinking that they are kind of on the same level as the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States. And I know that they would laugh that I just put my name in with those two, but it's true. They're not on that level. They did win a national championship, so you can't really call them delusional now. I can't put them in the list. Miami, we all know how delusional Miami fans are. I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous. They still think that, look, Mario Cristobal's lifetime record is 74 and 73. And you morons actually think that you got the better end of the deal between him and Dan Lanning. Like you think you made some kind of coup taking him. Yes, great recruiter. But we all watched last year, okay? The guy is a bonehead. He's an absolute bonehead, and you're going nowhere. And all those sweet recruits that you paid for with your fat bags like Justin Scott, who's tweeting out bags of money on his recruiting post on Twitter. It's just insane, right? These dudes are all gone. Like, you understand that they're all leaving. They're going to get bag number 1. When they enter the portal, they're going to get bag number 2. You can't draw 15,000 fans when you got Louisville coming in last year, a top 10 team. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're so delusional. You're never coming back. It's just over. It's over for you. There's no doubt about it. But they are not the most delusional fan base in the country. The most delusional fan base in the country is by far, and I want to tell you this, I did not know this until the advent of college football Twitter, okay? I was not familiar with this. Now, I know some of my folks in the Southeast were quite familiar with this. I was not. Like I said, Midwest guy, Ohio guy. I know a lot about the fan bases up here. Twitter kind of expanded my eyes to more of the SEC, how you all felt about each other, and how I developed feelings for this particular fan base. And the most delusional fan base in the entire country, our last category is, you guessed it, the Tennessee Volunteers. These people are insane. For a fan base of a program that has done so little for so long, they really think that they're on Ohio State's level. They think that they're on Bama's level. They lose to everybody every year. They get hypo in 1 year, they do good. 1 year, and you think that, I mean, like, you would think that none of those 20 years before that happened, okay? You would think Derek Dooley never happened. I mean, I could go on and on about these morons. I mean, they are so obnoxious and so delusional and so loud. They're so loud. Dude, Vol fans, like, a little self-awareness, please. Just a little bit of self-awareness, and you will not be the most delusional. It'll go back to Miami. It'll go back to Michigan in 10 years because they're falling apart next year, and they'll be donezo for another decade or two, and you'll get off this list. And finally, I know I said it was over, but the most handsome fan bases of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Juck on Bucks. Follow me. Spotify.